Welcome back. Let's start with a challenge. If you're listening, you probably feel it sometimes. That that constant hum of distraction.
The low-grade
We
anxiety.
call it texting on the freeway of life. And it feels like just the way things are now.
It does, and it's because we're driving this magnificent, highly evolved piece of biological hardware, your body, but the software is completely outdated. It's buggy.
So you have millions of years of evolutionary design specs clashing with, what,
Oh,
21st century?
screens, weird synthetic foods, chronic, unending stress. Your operating system was built for a very different world.
A wild, unpredictable world. And now we're using that same primal system to, navigate traffic and our email inbox. It's a mismatch. We need an update.
And that's what this deep dive is all about. It's bridging those fundamental evolutionary design specs, what your biology absolutely requires, with what we call the revolution of love.
Which is the conscious choice to thrive, right? Not just to survive day to day.
It's a deliberate choice. So our mission here is to give you an actual roadmap. We've gone through the research, the practices, the field manual, if you like.
And we've pulled out the absolute foundations, the snacks, stardust, and sacred fire. You need to, to really upgrade your entire operating system. So let's open this portal.
All right, let's begin with the absolute foundation. If you could only commit to one single practice from everything we're about to discuss.
Just one.
The science and, all the ancient wisdom traditions, they completely agree. It has to be the breath.
It has to be. Because conscious breathing is the ultimate regulator. It's this direct, measurable link between your conscious mind and your supposedly automatic nervous system.
And the vagus nerve is the key here, right? It acts like a switchboard.
It's the switchboard.
Yeah.
So let's start with the hard science just for a moment. Most of us, most of the time, are breathing all wrong.
How so? What does that look like?
It's rapid, it's shallow, it's all up here in the chest, and that pattern is a direct signal to your sympathetic nervous system.
Fight or flight, 24/7 fight or flight. We're just living in this state of low-grade, constant threat. But when you intentionally switch to deep, slow, diaphragmatic breathing, belly breathing,
You flip the switch.
you flip the switch, you activate the parasympathetic side, rest and digest, you are literally telling your body the threat is over.
So we're manually turning off the internal alarm bell just by changing how we breathe. And you said this has measurable effects. It's not just a feeling of being calmer.
Oh, absolutely. The key marker here is heart rate variability, or HRV.
Right.
Think of HRV as the resilience of your nervous system. It's the tiny, subtle variation in time between each heartbeat. Now, if your heart beats like a metronome, very rigid, very low HRV, that's a sign of chronic stress.
Right. No flexibility.
No flexibility. But if the time between beats is highly varied, high HRV, it means your system is resilient, it's flexible, it can adapt to stress and recover quickly. High HRV is really the gold standard for being anti-fragile.
So if someone wants an actionable tool right now to boost that resilience, let's give them the 4-7-8 technique.
Okay, simple. You inhale quietly through your nose for a count of 4.
Got it.
You hold that breath for a count of 7. Then you exhale completely through your mouth, making a little whoosh sound for a full 8 counts.
And the long exhale. That's the important part.
That is the entire secret. The prolonged exhale is what directly stimulates the vagus nerve.
Why? That part specifically.
Because that nerve runs all the way from your brainstem down into your abdomen. When you stretch that exhale, you are sending a powerful, undeniable physical signal to your brain that says, we are safe, the danger is over. You force the nervous system into calm.
And you only need to do it a few times.
Just 4 to 8 cycles. Do that, and you've actively upgraded your stress response in, 2 minutes?
Okay, so that's the biology. The 4-7-8 physically grounds you, stabilizes the HRV.
Yeah.
But what happens in that space, that little gap of calm you create, is that where the cosmic insight starts?
That's exactly it. Once the biology is anchored, you start to realize the deeper implication of the breath. It begins to dissolve the illusion of separation.
The feeling of being an island.
Yes, that feeling of being the solitary unit cut off from everything else, which, is really the root of almost all our suffering. Fear, greed, that sense of meaninglessness. It all comes from feeling separate.
And the breath shows us unity consciousness.
I mean, just think about it on a purely environmental level. You are inhaling oxygen that was produced by plants, by trees, by the ocean. And they, in turn, are absorbing the carbon dioxide that you just exhaled. This constant vital exchange is a biological reminder that you are not separate. You are part of a system.
So you are quite literally the universe experiencing itself. A shared respiratory system with the whole planet.
And maybe most powerfully of all, the breath anchors you in presence. You cannot take a breath in the past. You can't breathe in the future. It only ever happens right now, which makes it your direct, moment-to-moment anchor to the only place life actually happens, the eternal now.
Okay, so the breath anchors the body. Let's shift gears now to actively reshaping the mind. If we can control our nervous system with breath, does that mean our negative patterns, our old habits, they're not actually permanent?
That is exactly what we are saying. And it's probably the most profound realization from the last 100 years of neuroscience. Your adult brain it's Play-Doh. It is not concrete.
It's plastic, it's changeable, it's waiting for instructions.
It is waiting for your instructions, and this is where we have to challenge that feeling we all have, that my default stress reaction or my automatic worry loop, that it's just a permanent part of my personality.
Not just how I am.
Right. It's not how you are, it's what you've practiced. The fundamental rule here is a principle from Donald Hebb. Neurons that fire together wire together.
So whatever you repeat gets stronger.
It gets stronger. Every single thought, every action, every habit you repeat, you are literally strengthening that neural pathway. So if you spend, say, 8 hours a day practicing worry, you are carving a deep, easy-to-access superhighway for worry in your brain.
But the flip side is true. If we practice a new thought, like calm or creativity, we're building a new road.
You're building a new road. And what's more, you're not just strengthening old roads, you can build entirely new ones. It's a process called neurogenesis.
The growth of new brain cells.
Brand new neurons, yeah. Primarily in the hippocampus, which is your center for memory and learning, and things like aerobic exercise, deep learning, meditation, they all promote this growth. It's like laying down new fiber optic cables in a town that only had dial-up.
That sounds amazing. But how long does it take? Because the internet loves to tell you about the 21-day challenge.
Yes. And we have to push back on the 21-day myth. We really do. 21 days might be enough to, maybe disrupt an old pattern, but for real, structural, lasting change, no.
So what's the real number?
The parts of your brain that house those deep, unconscious habits, like the basal ganglia, they require intense, sustained repetition. The research is very clear on this. For a new pathway to become the default, you must commit to a minimum of 90 days.
90. Wow.
90 days of consistency?
That changes the entire conversation. It's not a trick or a hack. You're literally building new architecture in your consciousness. It's a full identity redesign.
And that's the spiritual side of it. You see, the most important question isn't, who am I? Because that's usually just a story about your past. The truly profound, actionable question is, who am I practicing being?
I like that.
If you consistently, every day, for 90 days, practice being calm, or practice being creative or compassionate, you sculpt that new identity into your physical reality.
But we should be honest about what that feels like. Because shedding an old identity, even a dysfunctional one, it's uncomfortable. It can even feel a bit like dying.
Significant learning is a death and rebirth. You have to allow the old comfortable patterns, the old you to die, so the new integrated self can emerge. That discomfort isn't a sign of failure, it's just friction. It's the sound of the rewiring in progress.
Okay, so we've got the blueprints for the mind and the ultimate regulator for the body. But now comes the real challenge, the integration, the knowing-doing gap.
The great paradox of our time. Everyone has the gold, they've read the books, they've watched the videos, they know the science, but they leave it all sitting in a vault, and then they go back to living exactly the same way.
Reading won't fix you.
Reading will not fix you, practicing will.
So we have to move this from abstract knowledge to concrete daily action. What are the absolute minimum? Let's synthesize this down into the snacks, stardust, and sacred fire. The non-negotiable 5.
These 5 pillars. These are the minimum biological requirements for a human being trying to run this magnificent, ancient hardware in the modern world.
Okay, pillar 1, the bedrock of recovery.
Number 1 is sleep. Non-negotiable. This is your nightly reset. You need 7 to 9 hours, and ideally on a consistent schedule to honor your circadian rhythm.
And this is when the brain cleans itself, right?
That's the lymphatic system. Your brain outerly shrinks a tiny bit to flush out all the metabolic waste and toxins that build up during the day. There is no productivity hack in the world that can replace that process.
Okay. Next up, the protocol for anti-stagnation.
Number 2 is movement. We need 30 to 60 minutes every day. A walk is the bare minimum. But you should try to include some strength work or high-intensity intervals.
And it's more than just fitness.
So much more. It's the anti-stagnation protocol. It circulates your lymph, which doesn't have a pump like your blood. And crucially, movement helps release stored emotional trauma. The body holds on to stress in the tissues, and movement is how you let that energy finally circulate and dissipate.
Makes sense. Pillar 3 has to be the fuel source.
Number 3, real food. Hippocrates had it right thousands of years ago. Food is medicine. Focus on whole, unprocessed things, protein, plants, healthy fats. Fuel your hardware with what it was designed to run on.
And pair that with fasting.
If you can, yes. Time-restricted eating, a 12 to 16-hour overnight fast. This kicks off autophagy cellular cleanup, and it boosts BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which literally helps you grow new neurons. It clarifies consciousness.
4th, managing all the noise we talked about earlier.
Number 4, stress management. That's 10 to 20 minutes a day of that breath work or meditation. And the goal isn't to stop thinking. That's impossible. The goal is to create a tiny space between a stimulus and your habitual response.
A gap.
In that gap is your power. Your power to choose the new pattern instead of running the old software on autopilot.
And finally, the one that I think gets overlooked the most in our hyper-individualized world.
Number 5 is connection. This is not a nice to have. You need weekly, face-to-face, meaningful interactions, the kind where you feel truly seen and heard.
Why is it so critical biologically?
Because loneliness isn't just a sad feeling, it's a biological alarm system. It jacks up your cortisol, it triggers chronic inflammation. The biological impact is equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. We are social animals. Connection is a physical need.
And to install these 5 pillars, to make them stick, we need the architecture to hold them up. We need routines.
Routines are the foundation of personal sovereignty. Your morning routine is a ritual of becoming. You get to choose your day, to set your intention. You move from being reactive to being sovereign.
And the evening routine.
That's your sacred shutdown. It's the practice of surrender, letting go of the day, shutting down the screens, so your body can actually do the deep restorative work it needs to do during sleep.
So, when we put all this together,
Mm-hmm.
what's the point? The ultimate purpose of all these practices, it's not just health for the sake of health, is it? It's about capacity.
It's all about capacity. The capacity to show up fully for your life, the capacity to weather the storms that will inevitably come, the capacity to serve whatever your purpose is and to experience the fullness of life.
You are the lotus, not the muddy waters.
Exactly. The mud is just the environment you grow out of. It is not the essence of who you are.
So the profound freedom that's unlocked by all this continuous practice, it's the freedom to finally choose your patterns instead of just being enslaved by them.
It's the conscious decision to align your incredible hardware with its original design specs. That is the very heart of the revolution of love.
And remember, this is not a 30-day challenge.
No, this is a life program, a lifelong commitment. The real transformation starts the moment you choose to act, to practice, instead of just collecting more knowledge.
The signposts are all around you.
Right on time.